So I've opened it, zoom out, that's where it is. So what we need to do is we need to put it in the top plane. So we select it, and we select X form, and we select X form, translate 3D, and move. And then we switch from top, so we do top, and then we switch it to front. And usually it gives you like a little outline, but obviously front's not plain, so let's see, right side, left side. Well, let's try front for now, and then we'll switch it to something else. So move, select that. Oh, it just moved it didn't have like it didn't set a location that's on here as its translation point. So now let's look at this in solid. And we're at top view right now. So this is what's curved. Let's go back to wire. And before we do anything, we escape everything. And then we select this guy, and we have to create a curve on all edges. Press check. And what that does is it creates a curve literally on the edge of every surface. Okay? So then top view again, and we're going to select it, and we're going to export and rotate and move. We're going to rotate about this point. We'll rotate 90. Alright. So now we have solid view this bottom area being solid. Alright, so escape now, and we go back to wire view, and we want to locate it where our 0, 0 plane is going to be. So we're going to select it, we select X form, translate, and move, and we quick, we do from to, and we select this guy, and then we select our second point. Alright, so we're basically, I'll redo that so that you can understand what I'm doing. So right now it's up there. We select X form, translate, and move. Because if we select copy, it's just going to make a copy. And then, we select this +1 here, which is the first point. And we're going to move it to the second point. All right, and apply. All right. And what we want to do is we want to make sure that when we switch to a side plane, this is it's below the. So I just did the front top here, and this is the front plane, and it's below the what would be in this the Y, but it's actually the Z. All right, so it's below the Z0. All right, so top plane, side plane. Alright, if I move it, you can see it's below the Z0. Alright? So now make sure that everything that you're doing or moving, whatever, is always in the top plane, because otherwise, if let's say, right now what the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start creating toolpaths, right? So I'm going to go to machine, mill, fire, whatever, it doesn't matter because you're on the fire. So toolpath. Now, if I were to select a toolpath while I'm not in the top plane, then it's going to do, like, if I were, let's say, in here, and then I would do this and start doing things, then it would do things from this. Think that it wants you to do all the toolpaths from the side. Do you know what I'm saying? So, like, rather than like you're machining out from the top, and machine out from the side. All right. So now we do. Let's do a surface contour. Contour. Check. And now it's asking us to select the drive surfaces. So again, top plane, and we're just going to select both sides on the inside over here. All right. Enter. So the drive surfaces are the surfaces that the tool is going to drive on. It's going to, the surfaces you want it to mill. you want it to make a contour pass on. All right. The check surfaces are the surfaces you don't want the tools to touch. You want that surface to be whole the way it looks, and not have any gouges or anything happen to it. All right.
Yeah, I don't.
All right. So you got it to here.
Yeah.
Right? Now, that you've got it to here, you want to select the kind of milling you're doing.
Yeah.
So if you go to Toolpaths, here you've got 2D, milling and machining. Here it's 3D, because here it's a surface.
Oh, okay.
So right now I'm selecting a surface rough operation. I'm selecting contour. All right, and then I'm going to select the drive surface. You see how it says here, select drive surfaces? I'm selecting the drive surfaces, which are the surfaces that the tool is going to run on.
Why don't you what about the other holes, the two holes that are coming on the
What
sides?
holes?
Or not holes, but
Well, how are you going to machine that? How are you holding this in the machine?
don't you clamp it?
You're clamping it to the table,
Yeah.
right? But you're not really clamping it to the table. You're clamping a piece that's bigger than this to the table. And since you're clamping a piece that's bigger than this to the table, you need to cut it out, right? So if you're going to cut it out, then you're going to have to do the profile on the outside.
Okay.
So what's the point of doing it now if you're just going to cut it out anyway after this to do the profile on the side?
Okay, so drive is pretty much just the stuff on the insides.
Okay, so what I'm doing right now is I'm trying to create a toolpath for a curved surface. Okay? Because if I make this solid, this is right now in the top plane. This is not straight up and down, as you can see. All right? This is a curved surface. This is a slanted surface, at least. It's not curved. If it's not curved, it's slanted. All right? So then, if that's the case, I can't do a simple contour or a simple pocket, which goes down and like this, or down and removes the material on the inside. All right? I need to have something more complicated. I need something that's going to go in the X, Y, and Z motion at the same time.
Okay.
All right? So for that, you need to do, because I'm not going to be cutting a line, I'm going to be cutting a surface.
Okay.
What I mean by that is I'm not going to be cutting, here, let me do wireframe. I'm not going to be cutting the outside of here. I'm not going to be following this line. I'm going to be following an entire surface area.
I understand.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So for that, you do surface rough, and we do contour. And what that means is that for all of the areas that have above, I think, 5 degrees or 6 degrees of incline, it's going to do a contour motion, all right, based on the parameters I set after I set the locations that I wanted to cut. All right. So drive surfaces are the locations that are the locations that the tool is actually going to run on. It's going to cut. All right. And then the check surface is the locations that I want the tool to avoid. All right. So the top and the bottom. Right, because that's what's next to the area that's going to get machined. All right. And I want it to be I don't want to tell it don't come near the top surface or the bottom surface. Right. So that's check. Then you select check after that, and you select the tool type that you want. So it's the 1/4 inch ball. Are these all flat? Yeah. So you go into, what's up? Exactly, you go to tool filter. And, all right, 1/4 ball, check. And now you change the tool numbers because we have a tool table in the machine and you don't want it to go all the way down. So this is going to be tool number 1, and this is going to be clearance. I'm going to check that. I'm going to make sure that everything's absolute. And for the maximum step down, we're going to switch this to 0.05. Step down is how much. So remember what I said earlier about how we select surfaces to do a contour cut. So it's going circle down, circle, or whatever that weird shape is, and then down, and so on and so forth. So the step down is that how much down it's going each time. All right. So that's done, and there you have it from this side. Okay? All right, so let me explain this to Leon real quick. So we're right now clamping into the table, and we're going to do that the inside geometry, and you would do this for any further one after this. All right, and then but like we need to do the opposite side because obviously it's not reaching everything. Right, we have to do the opposite side.
Yeah.
All right. So the way to do that is there's a method of, so if this is less than, this is 8 inches or less, so analyze distance. So this is 8 inches, it's 4, all right? Then we can straight up put it inside the, after we're done with what I'm about to show you, we can put it in the vise and then run the opposite side. If it's 8 inches, if it's 8 inches or more, if it's more than 8 inches, what you do is you take it out and you put it, you know how in the table there are troughs? You align it using those troughs and then you zero. Now we could do a basic contour. That's fine. Let's do a basic toolpath, contour. And it's up to you, top or bottom, it doesn't really matter, but I prefer top. So you're telling it basically now the chain, that you want it to go. You're telling it the direction and the location of it running the tool. All right. And you're trying to get it to the other arrow.
No, it's just 2D.
Now it's just 2D. Now it's just no surfaces, right? Enter, and then total. And then for this guy, I'm going to get a 1/4 inch flat. That'll be my tool too. Yeah.
So for the 3D, the only thing that you change is the stack, right? No, that's not.
Well, the step, and then there's other things you can change. There's other parameters, but usually for this kind, for your stuff, no. Yeah, there's just a step.
And you change it to 0.05.
0.05, yeah. All right, and for this guy, it's negative 0.55. Bam, bam.
Find 0.55 is the thickness of the wood, right?
Yes. So you want to go the thickness of the whatever material that you're using plus at least 0.05, and then I forgot to put depth cuts. All right, and there you have it in terms of a very basic outside. So that's one side, right? So we'll save this. Save, and I'll just save it on your thing. So that's going to be saved as 9.
So do you save it
And
as a
then
Mastercam file?
CX file for now. I'll show you how to generate the code after I'm done with all of them. All right. So then now you can straight up go like this. Delete, yes, and then you press File, Save As, and do 9 bottom. Save. All right. And then you can do this and Xform, translate 3D top to bottom, and you can move the location it's going to put it at. I think here is the correct place, and top view, and yoink. All right, I pressed move, right? I'm not replace. Control C. Yeah, okay. All right. So top to bottom, and then we just have to do this. So toolpath, rough, contour, check.
Can you explain why it's rough and not like there's
Finish, yeah. So the reason why I'm doing rough rather than finish, because finish will give you, it's just the difference in step down. Honestly, between contour, between rough and finish isn't, there isn't much in terms of difference. All right. What's the difference? The difference is, let's say if you were to use another operation and there were like different levels, all right, So what would end up happening is that it would take the step downs and the step overs with in smaller intervals. That's the difference, literally, between rough and finish. Also, there's a leave stock on material. It leaves stock onto the material in rough most options, unless you tell it otherwise. All right, so that's tool 2, I think, or tool 1 from last one. And parameters, yoink, and absolute, and point 0.05, and check. Yeah, it does. So yoink, yoink, enter, yoink, and yoink, enter, and check. Stop. And there you go. Alright, so now it's cut from both sides. Alright, so let's save this. I'll show it to you.
J1.
So you go here,
Yeah.
make sure that these all checked.
Okay.
Then G1, output MCX file descriptor, because this is not going to be selected, and this one's going to be selected. It's going to look like this basically when you first open it.
Okay. Okay.
Or that's what it's going to look like. So
Okay.
you're going to have to go like this. Check.
Steering home.
What is that NCI file like overwrite then?
What?
Or like, well,
Sweet.
can you go over like why you chose those options? It's like these.
Oh, it's
Or
just
should we just
so
memorize them?
yeah, just memorize it. But like the reason, okay, here, I'll show you the reason. All right, so MCX file descriptor is just it's that thing that comes up, the pop up. That's what I'm saying by telling it to do that, and also I'm telling it to analyze the code. All right, so NC file is the code file that I'm making. All right, overwrite is because like I changed it prior, the post file. All right, NCL file is another type of file that I also changed. The reason being that controllers that we have here are different than every controller is different, but the controllers that we have here are fucking finished. So I had to call the company and have them do their own post file for these specific controllers. So then you delete. So notice you're gonna have Control C. You're gonna have this. Delete all the 10s here. And tool. Just one, so it's going to be before every tool. Alright, so that's all of them, and it's also going to be at the very end. Before every tool, and at the very end.
Okay.
Alright, so once you have that, you copy it all, shift, up, I'm going to right click, copy, go to a notepad, paste, file, save as, and then this to an all files, and then wherever you're going to end up saving it to, you're going to save it to whatever, large.m. This is going to be on the floppy, you're going to save it that way. It's going to be anywhere you save it to, it's going to be like that.
Okay.
If you don't select all files, it's not going to come up when you put it inside the machine.
Okay.
All right? That's it.